Hey, what's up everybody? It is Kellen here from Start Your Systems again, and welcome to another edition of MX vs ATV Supercross Encore Career Mode gameplays, where today we are continuing on with the Nationals, the 450 National Championship in this game. And I'm trying to get all the way, as mentioned previously in my last video, through the career mode in this game before MX vs ATV All Out comes out. I told myself a while ago that I would do it, and I didn't, so this is kind of me making up for that now. But yeah, so we're on round 5 of 12 of the Nationals, and we will get through round 8 of 12 today. Obviously, the next video after that would be rounds 9 through 12. Yeah, I figured today I'd spend a little bit of time while I'm playing this game and like going through it to more or less highlight some of the things I do and don't like about this game. Because personally speaking, I enjoyed hang on a second. I enjoyed the MXGP games better than this so far. I'm a little indifferent on MXGP 3, and I thought MXGP 2 was better, but overall I do actually like them physics-wise better than this game. And there's a lot of reasons for that, in my opinion, but the basis of this one is that there's so much kind of unrealistic things going on that's hard to control with this game. Like, yes, visually it looks pretty good. For the most part, the bike, suspension, all that, it looks good. The rider on the bike seems like he's not doing like weird wonky things, but then like there's so many ways for you to absolutely kill every little bit of momentum you have in this game. Supercross definitely doesn't feel like it works very well in this game for me, because like you could be totally perfectly timing a rhythm section and still have almost no momentum going forward. Like, you have to seat bounce so much stuff, which is definitely not what you do in a real Supercross race, because those guys they're trying to stay low and trying to keep their momentum, and it's almost impossible in this game. Like, it seems like even when you're downsiding everything perfect, it still is a big struggle to get it to work the way you want it to. So, I mean, I don't like it from that aspect, but I'd be fine with it if the air controls made up for it. Like, if we were getting our momentum killed all the time, but you could actually do some decent stuff while you're in the air to combat that, to maybe try to solve that issue, I'd be totally fine for it. And all too often with this game, especially if you go to MX vs ATV's Facebook page and like look back a year or so, this game had a ton of people that like broke the laws of physics to make this game like playable, I guess. Like, they were able to keep their momentum because they were doing unrealistically huge lines. Like, they'd come railing through a corner, which in my opinion everything's overscaled in this game, but they'd come railing through like these giant Talladega style bowl corners, and then 5 into a section and then 7 out of it or something stupid like that. And like, whatever, they figured out a way to play the game fast and be competitive in it, but I just don't like how ridiculous and stupid that looks. And yes, you can do that in other games, including the sim games as well, but it's a lot less beneficial, I would say. Like, you would have to waste so much time to be able to do stuff like that, whereas this, it makes it easy for you to do that. And I don't know, I don't really like that aspect of it. And I think the cornering in this game is all off. It's very clear to me that it's off just by watching those videos of guys hot lapping and doing stupid huge lines. But you can like come flying into a corner, feel like you've arced into a rut or a berm perfectly, and instantly slide out. And the easiest way to fix it is to literally just quickly tap the clutch, and then you're suddenly going back at like full speed again, which is about as unrealistic as it gets. Like, real life, you would come into a corner, brake hard, get into a rut or a berm, arc your corners, make sure that you're set up coming down the next straightaway, and feather the clutch out coming out of the ruts and stuff like that. In this game, it's, oh yeah, just hope that it lays into the corner, and if it doesn't, just drop the clutch 7 times and you'll get all the speed back that you lost. Like, I don't know, just not a fan of some of that stuff. But I mean, like, I still, personally speaking, I still actually enjoy playing this game. I know a lot of people don't and whatever, but it's still a good, fun game to pick up. I just think that there's so many glaring little problems that they could fix with it. Everybody talks about the air physics, but I just think that there's a lot of other things they could just, moderately address. The cornering, the speeds in general. Like, you get going from stop to fast really quickly sometimes, and other times you have no speed at all. And I get it, sometimes in real life you do lose a lot of momentum and you have to figure out how to not do that next time. I just feel like it happens too often in this game for no real good reason. So yeah, I mean, there's a couple things, and looking at the new MXGP ATV All Out game, it seems like some of these things have been solved. Like, they haven't done very much, if at all, any gameplay videos, which, like, I'm not going to be that channel that posts their gameplay videos a bunch and says, like, look at what they're doing now. Like, when the game comes out, you guys will see it on the channel. But, it seems like they're kind of making steps in the right direction to, kind of like in Reflex, how it had the rhythm racing aspect where you could make sections flow better on purpose. Like, you could build it to a certain spec and it would flow better. I think they're trying to bring that back a little bit. Some of the rhythm sections and stuff that I've seen gameplays of, it seems like it's better than Alive and Supercross Encore was. So I'm hopeful for that, but I'm still a little skeptical on the air physics. They claim that it's total control and all that stuff, but it seems to me like the only whip you can do is a very similar whip to what you can already do in this game, which is kind of like just lean over, and you can't really like arc a whip out. And obviously I haven't played the game, so I'm not going to make a huge judgment based off of that, but just visually looking, all I've seen are these whips where like you just turn in midair, and instead of a real whip, which is mostly like leaning off the back of the bike and trying to get the rear end to almost swivel around as you use your legs to torque the bike underneath of you, and then reset your body positioning back to center, and then if you need to, even beyond center to bring the bike back to center. And like, I just don't see those aspects necessarily being super prominent in any gameplay videos I've seen, but that doesn't mean it's the worst thing. I mean, from what I've seen, I do already think the game physics are a little bit better than this, but I will hold to pass judgment until I play it. Just still looking at it occasionally when I see those gameplay videos, thinking like, okay, but you guys had a lot of time to build this, don't mess it up again, which I don't think they will, and I'm happy that they do put in the effort that they do. I'm just looking at it from my own perspective. I don't know what is happening right now. I'm suddenly having a lag fest and a half, which is kind of weird because I've never had this happen before. Hopefully that'll sort itself out on the next track. Maybe it's just like this track being stupid, but almost done, I guess. One lap to go. And don't get me wrong, with this game, there are ways that you can play it and make it look realistically good, kind of. And I'd assume if I played it more often, I'd find some of those like hidden ways to play it better. But like, honestly, if they literally took this game and figured out how to do a similar reflex air physics spec, I think it'd be fine. Like, even if the momentum was still painful and you would kill your momentum all the time in these rhythm sections, I think I would be okay to suffice with it, because you could actually handle the bike properly in the air instead of hoping that it comes back around and lands comfortably and all this stuff. And then, I mean, we could talk forever about overscaling in all these games. Like, MXGP 2 was overscaled, so they downscaled it in MXGP 3, but didn't do much when it came to changing the actual speeds. So now you just haul tail around these tracks, and they're underscaled. So like, I mean, that's like kind of the golden snitch when it comes to motocross games, is finding the balance between speed and scale, which even the simulation games haven't figured out, in my opinion. MX Simulator, for example, runs at a higher scaling than 1:1, and from what I can tell, MX Bikes isn't that different. It's also a little upscaled, maybe not as much. but it definitely doesn't seem compacted and doable at a compacted level. But I think that these ones, they go to an extreme. They make things giant. The national tracks are pretty good on this, but this is the Alive national tracks. They built it for a completely different game. The Supercross Encore Supercross tracks are overkill in a lot of ways, in my opinion. And I'm sure that probably lends to why when you make a mistake and you come up short or slightly over jump in a rhythm section, there's nowhere for you to go, because in real life, if you did that, you could probably power up and at least double the next jump. But these jumps are so huge in this game that it's practically impossible to do that. And I don't get what the deal with that thing on the start is too, that it like will start revving up the bikes and everything before you've even loaded into the gate. It's like still doing the cutscene. I don't know, just like weird little things like that. I look at it and I'm like there's got to be a way to properly code that, right? Like, you guys didn't mess up that, obviously, right? And I still laugh at how like overdoing it they did with James Stewart being the fastest guy in this game. I'd love to know how they work that out in the Formula 1 games or like NASCAR or whatever, where they end up getting, you know, the guys who would normally finish up front in real life to be the guys that finish up front in the game. And I would be curious to know why it's not doable in these games. Like, why can't they make it more of like a sway between, oh yeah, you know, James Stewart is probably going to finish in front of, I don't know, Tara Geiger or something, you know, like, seems like it'd be obvious, where in F1, Lewis Hamilton is probably going to finish in front of Marcus Ericsson, just as a comparison. But with Stewart in this game, it's like everybody else is on par. James Stewart gets ridiculous hole shots and is pretty much the only guy that can keep pace with you on all-time mode. Everybody else is not even close. And that to me is a little funny. Because, yeah, I mean, Stewart's good. He can definitely do that, but they make it almost painfully obvious that they did that. I don't know. Just thinking out loud, I guess. This track right here, though, is maybe one of my favorite tracks in this game. I do like the environment for these couple tracks that this environment uses. And this one, I feel like, of all the national tracks that are like really rhythmy, this one, in my opinion, has the best flow. Like, it's pretty easy to carry your momentum. The ruts come in nice. Like, the Dragon's Back right there is pretty fun. Like, this whole section right here is really easy to do. I don't know. I like that whole section, and in general, these tracks on this environment are pretty fun. I don't know if it'd be my favorite track. I'm trying to think. I always get mixed up, especially with this game, between tracks in this game and tracks in Reflex, which, like, my favorite Reflex tracks was like Armadillo Flats. Like, I liked those desert-y type tracks. And this one, there's Sous La Pont, Le Champs MX Park, and one more on this environment. And they're all pretty fun, in my opinion. My all-knowing and altruistic opinion. Not even close. I like that I really honestly expected to pick up this game again, and like I was wanting to do the Nationals series because I hadn't done the 450 Nationals. And while I do wish it was more realistic that they did the double motos and everything, I was a little happy to see that you could, you know, only do the single moto, kind of rush through the career mode if you needed to, which I'm kind of trying to do. It's nice when they give you options. It's kind of like, you know, like in a first-person shooter game, for example, they make, if you choose an easy mode, they make the campaigns super easy to like almost speed run through stuff. If it's hard, it turns into like a tactical game. And I like how in this game you can choose to do a lot of laps or little laps or hard difficulty or easy difficulty. Like, it gives you variation. So there's a positive there, right? Almost ran 3 121s. I don't think the first lap was, but the second two were. All right, one more track to go. On this particular day, man, Weston Pike and Daniel Blair beating James Stewart. I don't know about that. Oh, this track's pretty fun. I also really like this environment too, which has something canyon. This one's called Piston Valley, and there's one more on this environment. These ones are good tracks too. At least I believe they are. All right, final race of this episode of MX vs. ATV Supercross Encore Career Modes. Yeah, the clutch is like, look at, I'm just like kind of tip-tapping it to gain like a little bit of a boost, and it's ridiculous. I went from buried to third in like no time at all. Now I'm in second. Now I'm already onto the back of Stewart. Before you know it, I'll be in the lead, and this will be boring. Seen a lot of talk about the new Monster Energy Supercross game and the AI, and I'm sure that same talk will come around again when it comes to MX vs. ATV All Out coming out, because, you know, let's face it, I mean, if you're an avid motocross fan and you pick this game up, you want to be challenged, and I understand on their level wanting to make it simple enough to play for the layperson, but I don't know, if I tried to put Forza on max difficulty, even though I'm a big car racing guy and fan and stuff like that, I won't win those races. Like, I can't. I'm not that good at a car racing game, and I don't think I'm that great at this game, but the all-time stuff is way too easy to beat these guys in my opinion. So I've seen a little bit of discussion about that, about they should really work on toning down the AI to make it, well, not toning down, but like kind of cleaning up the AI so that they're hard, they're difficult, they're challenging, they race you hard and stuff when they're on all out mode or whatever. But when they're easy, yeah, they should be easy and easy to pass and stuff like that, and that's fine. The normal dude picking up this game wants to have it easy, but make it a challenge for the, you know, big motocross fans of the world that want to pick up this game. I all too often feel like the MX vs. ATV guys like don't understand their market, and I can't tell if that's because of like where they are located or what, but I'd have to imagine that a large portion of their market are motocross fans or ATV motocross fans, or, you know, like enduro people. I don't think like a weekend warrior desert guy is picking up this game thinking like, yeah, dude, this is exactly what I do all the time. No, like they build this game for racers, in my opinion. Yes, they're going more towards the open map thing, but there's still racing involved with it. And I don't know, like I don't get why they try so hard to fall into one genre when it's like you could really tackle a very consistent fan base here if you did it right, but they just, I don't know, miss the mark too often. One more lap to go. Nationals, round 8 of 12. Won every round so far. And yeah, we're just cruising on through this career mode. I think after this one, I will try to get through all the MX vs. ATV championships. Should really actually map this out one day to see if I do 4 rounds a day, is there few enough career mode things to do that I would finish it before All Out comes out if I do this once a week. So maybe after this video, I will shut everything down and I'll take a look and see if I actually can finish it in time, or if I should just get as far as I think I can get and then just call it even. Alright, uphill triple. Nice little whip. Oh, trying to scrub off that thing and ended up missing it. Through the banners. And coming towards the finish line. So again, thank you guys for watching this video if you watched all the way through, or if you watched it even kind of and then just for some reason fast forward to the end. That's cool too. Really appreciate everybody that still watches all this content and helps us out. If you guys like this video, please don't hesitate to like and at least subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Helps us out a ton. And hit me up with your comments, questions, or concerns if you have any. Gladly answer them back as soon as I can. But thanks for watching another video here on Start Your Systems. I'm Kellen, and I'll see you guys later.